Welcome to the Wizards 3 podcast. I'm Macklin.
I'm Aiden.
And I'm Sawyer.
Damn it, he wins.
I saw your mic peak like 5 times when you drew in the welcome to
welcome. Wait. Do you always say podcast at the start?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought it was just the Wizards 3.
I'm pretty sure I was a podcast. Anyway,
Because this is the podcast version of our brand.
Yeah, I'm chill with it. I just never noticed that you said podcast.
I liked Macklin's what?
welcome to or welcome back to, depending on your loyalty to the podcast. For those new here, we're just 3 friends who like to talk about stuff and things and things and stuff. How's everyone doing today?
We're chilling.
Pretty good.
We're recording a little bit later for a variety of reasons. It's really fucking cold outside.
It snowed
Maybe
a lot.
it's outside.
Maybe it's outside.
It is outside. Anyways, you want to get into news?
Let's do news.
Sure. Would you like to do your news first?
Sure. Okay. So I'm just going to start this off by doing a new thing where I just basically just go through the new comics coming out this week. So there's 3 big tentpole number 1s coming out. There's Justice League Unlimited, which is a new series from Mark Waid and Dan Mora that is bringing back the Justice League. They haven't been around for the last couple years since Dark Crisis. It's going to be huge. I can't wait. There's West Coast Avengers, which is, it's always going to be a fun book. It's West Coast Avengers. I think Jerry Dugan's writing it. And Ultron is a good guy, apparently, now. And then the other one is Black Canary, Best of the Best. This is Tom King and Ryan Sook's. I think it's a 6-issue series about Black Canary. It looks pretty fun. I like Tom King. And Black Canary's criminally underrated. So, yeah. And then there's also going to be new issues of Nightwing, Superman, Spider-Man, Absolute Wonder Woman,
Spider-Man.
Uncanny X-Men, Void Rivals, Dazzler, Iron Man, the conclusion to Venom War, and a whole bunch more. So
Awesome.
Vebin.
I would say I'm excited for volume 2 of Void Rivals, but I haven't read it yet because I still have a lot of other comics to read.
I've got your.
You got the hookup?
Yeah.
Awesome.
I have a bunch of comics to give you.
Not out yet,
Thanks.
but I'm excited
I
for
can't wait for
volume 2 of
Transformers Volume
Ultimate
2.
Spider-Man.
Well, you've got to wait. Let me see.
2 months.
This one is next, though, as we're recording. So when you're listening, last week issue number 11 came out. And so next week is issue number 12, which is the last issue that will be in the volume. So February is when you're getting it. Because it's either a month or 2. Sometimes it's more.
Dang.
Anyways, let's get into this. I got one more bit of news that is comic book related. Jamal Campbell, who worked on Far Sector and drew the first few issues of Superman, the current Superman series. He's writing and drawing a new Zatanna 6-issue miniseries that's coming out in February. I'm a huge fan of Campbell's art, and here's you want to know something ridiculous? I was telling Macklin about this. I dislike magic in general. I don't like it. I don't like it. I don't enjoy.
I know I play spellcasters in D&D, Macklin.
No, I was reacting to Nasa.
Nasa's sitting over here acting like offended that I said I don't like magic. Why did you say that?
I'm the one that hates magic.
No, you hate close-up magic.
Close-up magic is awesome.
Nasa has a deep disdain for close-up magic.
I don't like not knowing things.
Yeah, so
Knowledge FOMO.
I dislike magic in media because it's not for me. And so I try to stay away from that side of the like comics and everything. But just recently there was a series of Zatanna. It was called Zatanna Bring Down the House by Mariko Tamaki and Javier Rodriguez. So the art, gorgeous. Then it's pretty, and like that was the main reason I was buying it. Jamal Campbell is one of the best artists working. So So far, DC in the past year is 2 for 2 for hooking me with fucking Zatanna series because I'm like, damn, I like that art. So yeah, I'm a little bit ticked off, but whatever.
It's fine.
I'm chilling. I'm happy to be ticked off because I look forward to this. All right, getting into some movie news. The first trailer released for Mission Impossible: The Final Reckoning.
That's a kick-ass name.
Holy fucking shit. Holy fucking shit. This is going to be incredible. It's bringing back shit from all the past movies. Bring back people from the past movies. I don't like it when they do that with like Marvel and shit, but when it's Mission Impossible and Tom Cruise, oh, the rabbit's foot from 3 coming back, baby. You best believe that when this comes out in May, we will have an episode where both Macklin and Aiden have watched all 7 previous Mission Impossible, so we are ready to discuss.
For viewers at home,
All right.
Sawyer pointed and said Macklin and Aiden, but he pointed at Aiden when he said Macklin and pointed at me when he said Aiden.
I pointed in the general direction of both of you. I'm a big fan of the Mission Impossible franchise. I think that they are some of the best, most consistently great, movies coming out, action-wise. Especially the past, since Christopher McQuarrie got involved. So right around the time that they lost the numbers in the title. Anyways, we got the first news about Guy Ritchie's next movie. It's going to be called Wife and Dog, and will star Benedict Cumberbatch, Rosamund Pike, and Anthony Hopkins. And it's described as a return to the colorful, backstabbing world of the British aristocracy, similar to The Gentleman. Not a lot there, but I'm a huge fan of The Gentleman. I think it's super fun. I know it's not as liked as some of Guy Ritchie's other stuff, but I do really like The Gentleman. It's just a personal favorite of mine, so I look forward to that.
Is it known if there's? I'm sorry, what the hell was that? Is it known if there's going to be a dog in it? As the title says. Okay.
I wrote down all I know about it.
All right.
I didn't search up. I don't know if every movie has a dog in it. Even I know it has dog in the title, but
What's the title of the movie again?
Wife and Dog. Anyways, Christopher Nolan's next movie, which is coming out in, I believe, 2026. It's filming next year. So the cast has added Lupita Nyong'o, Zendaya, and Anne Hathaway, which is on top of Tom Holland and Matt Damon. So it's a stacked cast. But I mean, it's Christopher Nolan. What else do you want? Mm-hmm. I'm hyped. We don't know anything about it.
Other than it's probably going to be good.
Yeah, I don't know if this is confirmed or not, but the movie is rumored to be a remake of a 80s movie. Like an 80s, I think it's called Blue Thunder or something like that. It's a helicopter action movie, but this one's going to be set in the future, near future, so it's like technology and stuff. So
2038.
2099. 2098.
So the last bit of news is
20.
is that a Popeye horror movie is coming out in January. Because of course it is. When something meant for kids enters the public domain, it has to be a fucking horror movie.
When anything enters the public domain.
I think out of a lot of the properties that are, that it's happening to, like Winnie the Pooh, is like a little bear, but he's like a teddy bear, right? And like Mickey Mouse is a giant rat, but it's Mickey Mouse. But Popeye is just a skinny sailor who just eats like a can of spinach and by the way can squeeze the can to do it. So that's raw strength right there.
Strong to the finish.
And then
when
just
he eats
becomes
his spinach.
the Hulk. That's terrifying.
See, I would rather see him do anything but that.
I
when
agree.
These characters, I'm like, you can do so much fun stuff with Popeye. You don't have to make him kill people. Anyways, that's what he looks like. The design is it's cool.
It's just a sailor.
I mean, it's Popeye. It's literally the Sailor Man.
Nice.
So
that's not half bad.
yeah. So I mean, he looks good, but yeah.
Is he gonna be do you know if he's gonna be a good guy or the
I
bad
think
guy?
he's the killer, probably.
All right.
usually is.
No, it's going to be Big Pete or whatever the antagonist in the Popeye cartoons is.
Olive oil.
All right, and what's your bit of news?
Love interest.
All right. There wasn't a lot of gaming news except for one pretty big thing. So 2024's Game of the Year awards they're like, all right, happening December 12th. Check it out. I think there's I did sign up to co-stream it, so there's a chance that I might watch it on stream. So if that happens, check it out. That's
a Friday, right?
Don't ask me how, because I don't know how, but I bit the inside of my lip. I'm not chewing anything.
I was in the middle of talking, and Macklin just does like this weird lunge forward.
I thought he went back.
Well, it was like a.
I'm sorry. Continue.
All right. They've announced the nominees for all the categories. Obviously, you can vote now. There will be two more voting periods later. I don't know the dates.
I voted.
I also voted.
As did I.
Yeah, look at us go. Executing our constitutional right to vote in the Game Awards.
And I did.
All right. I'll be talking for like a little bit here. But so the Game of the Year nominees this year are as follows. Astrobot, the platformer by Team Asobi. Personally, that's what I'm voting. That's what I voted for.
I also voted for Astrobot because it was the one I recognized.
I really hope it gets something. I'll explain a little bit why later. Elden Ring, Shadow of Erdtree, which is causing a bit of a debate right now in the Game Awards community, because this is the first DLC, which for those who don't know is downloadable content, that has ever been nominated for a Game of the Year award. So that's interesting, and I understand why some people are kind of ticked off by it, because so many like actual full games get released, and this is taking up a spot on the roster that a real game could take up. But my argument is that this is basically a complete game. It adds about 75 hours of gameplay to the main game. It's a new story, basically new everything. It's just that it's an expansion upon the first game. So I understand why it was nominated, but I hope that people don't take advantage of the fact that DLCs can be nominated in the future by just being stupid. Mm-hmm. Because if you know the internet, you know that they can be pretty stupid.
Yeah.
Hello, I'm the internet.
Hey.
So sorry. That one is Souls-like RPG from Software. Another nominee is Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, the action RPG by Square Enix, which to my knowledge is just a remake of one of the older games. So
Final Fantasy VII, was it?
So it probably did something different with the formula. I don't know. I didn't play it. But so remakes and remasters aren't not allowed to receive awards either. Balatro, which is a roguelike deck builder by an indie company called Local Thunk. It looks really interesting. It's like poker-inspired kind of game mechanics, so that's really interesting. Metaphor Refantasio by RPG. It's an RPG by Studio Zero. Looks pretty cool. And lastly, Black Myth Wukong, the action RPG by Game Science that kind of took the world by storm earlier this year.
For like 2 days.
There's been some pretty consistent community love for it.
Also, apparently, Final Fantasy VII Rebirth is a actual sequel to the Final Fantasy VII remake.
Okay, sweet. That's nice to know. Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right. Yeah, so this is the first year that a DLC was nominated. And going back to the start of the list, Astrobot has been nominated for 7 awards this year, which I don't know the most something has been nominated for, but this is basically a debut game from Team Asobi. Pretty much every other game they had made is just a tech demo for whatever console or, thing had come out, but this is their first full-on game. So I'm really happy that they kind of got that out there. So it's nominated for 7 awards: the Game of the Year award, Best Game Direction, Best Action Adventure Game, Best Art Direction, Best Score and Music, Best Family Game, Best Audio Design, and Best Audio Design. I think it's a pretty big thing for them. Apparently, there's like entire studio is 65 people, which is a lot considering like the Elden Ring group. I'm pretty sure is like 400 plus. So
It's extremely impressive.
and they've like the From Software has been a company much longer than Team Asobi, I'm pretty sure. So, but yeah,
And whoever made Concord was
we don't talk about that
Hey, until
Secret Level
comes out.
dude.
They're gonna like redact that episode.
I watched the trailer for that, and it was like showing all these games. I'm like, I don't recognize these, but these sound cool. And then Concord showed up, and I was like, what the fuck? And then Sifu came up, and Sifu was a really good and well-made game. So I was like, well, no, go back. What did you say about that other thing?
There's a Dungeons and Dragons episode as well.
Yeah, that's true. There is one. I'm excited
I'm
about that
really
one.
excited to see the God of War episode and the Sifu episode because I'm excited to see how they do that in a show because like the concept's really interesting, but I just don't know how it translates.
I'm excited for the Concord episode. I'm very interested in my new favorite game. I love Concord. Best game of all time. Game
you
of the
guys
year
play
in my
it?
heart.
I don't know.
play PS5.
Were you one of the people that were grinding for the platinum trophy and got cut off because they shut the servers down?
7 days
I have
after.
a way to play it.
Yeah,
I have no way to play
wants
it.
to play it.
Not that I would want to play it if I did.
Anyway, continue.
No, that's pretty much it for that. All that's my news.
All that's your news.
Yeah. Do you have anything this week, Michael?
Nope.
All right. Then I suggested the topic of because of
Of segues.
because of the Game of the Year awards having the kind of curveball of like there being the DLC nominated.
Sorry. Before we go move past the game of the year, I just want to let everybody know that I voted for Astrobot in everything except when it was up against Zelda, and I voted for Zelda. But it went with my heart. Zelda, Echoes of Wisdom.
Was that in any category?
Yeah, it was in a bunch of categories.
Oh, okay.
It was in at least 3.
I didn't see it anywhere.
And I voted for
when I
it
was
in
voting.
all 3.
Yeah, it was
And I
best
went-
family game.
And there was a couple more.
Yeah, that's just the one that I noticed.
Yeah, that's
first.
the one when I saw it and I was like, oh, Zelda! And I went, that's the one I'm picking.
Best
I almost
family.
voted for Mario Jamboree, but then I was like, oh wait, there's best like multiplayer. That's what I'm gonna vote for.
Yeah, I voted for that too.
Yeah, I didn't. I didn't vote for best family game because like Mario Party is not a family game.
It tears families apart.
Oh, it does.
That's Mario Kart.
Both.
Fair.
Anyway,
All right, Aiden, I'm sorry for interrupting.
No,
That's
that's
on me,
right.
bro.
So the topic that I had kind of thrown out there was like, how do I say this? I've completely forgotten what I was gonna say.
here let me pull up. Let me
I was
pull up
gonna
the
say,
chat real quick.
What did you say?
It's on our Snapchat.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's what I'm pulling up right now.
I didn't have my phone available. My bad.
Successful departures from the formula.
Yeah,
Or just departures from the formula.
or pretty much anything. And I said I opened that up as wide as I possibly could. So like from comics, movies, video games, TV shows.
What do you mean by that? Like, explain to me.
So this'll come back later, but because it's kind of connecting to the content that I've consumed. But like a company like Naughty Dog made mostly platformers for about like pretty sure like 20 no not 20 years but quite a while. And then completely just were like, let's just veer as far as we can, and then they made Uncharted.
All right.
Okay, this
And
is like, I don't know if this is what you're talking. Like, okay, wait. Okay, so there's a director named Amber Seeley, and so in 2021 she made a movie about the relationship between an FBI analyst and Ted Bundy. So that's what the movie's about. This year, she has a movie out about a 6th grader with cerebral palsy. and like, so and it's like an upbeat, like uplifting thing.
That's a curveball.
So when you said like change ups, that was the first thing that I thought of.
Yeah.
Or
Was-
an example of it would be would one be Team Wasobi for making the full game Astrobot after only making like tech
Not
demos?
really. I would
kind of, because it's because the like the last thing they made before it was the Astrobot like
Astro's Playroom.
Playroom, which was like the same character, but it was
tech demo.
It
Tech
was
demo.
it was basically just like the first level of Astrobot split into like a bunch of different things. Like Astrobot on a much smaller scale. They just went big with Astrobot.
This sort of thing has happened a lot with comic book movies, where the directors of the comic book movies will make like one or two successful indie movies. Like I think Chloe Zhao, she like won an Oscar for like, she made No Man Land, won an Oscar for Best Director, won an Oscar. I think she won Best Director. Yep, she would have. And then won an Oscar for Best Picture. And then her next movie was Eternals.
Oh wow.
Like, yeah.
That's
So yeah, I mean, most of the movies, like the upcoming Kraven the Hunter, I believe the director of that is Yam Colette Serra. No, that was one of the other ones. Let me see. No, it's J.C. Chandor, which is even more of a departure, because this guy is like makes good movies. Like he made Triple Frontier a few years ago, and he made Margin Call over 10 years ago. But now his next movie is fucking Kraven the Hunter. But I mean, get that bag, King. Get the bag.
yeah.
Interesting. Okay.
Oh, right. That was the movie. Okay, so there's a director named Jan Colette Serra. So he breaks on the scene with a couple of horror movies like House of Wax, Orphan, The Shallows, which is the shark movie. And then he makes a few movies with Liam Neeson. He makes Nonstop, Commuter, and Unknown, which are all pretty good. Especially Nonstop. Nonstop's really good. And then his last two movies were Jungle Cruise and Black Adam.
Both movies starring The Rock. Coincidence? I think not.
But let's just say that the hierarchy of Yam Colette Serra's filmography definitely changed.
Definitely. It's like a slip and slide downhill very fast.
What?
One of the things that I was thinking of, and this especially goes for comics, which I'm not like super knowledgeable of, but if there was ever like maybe like a comic run that had like used a character that had basically like, hey, this is the character, let's completely change it. And maybe didn't succeed.
This
but did it
happens all the
nonetheless.
time. The one that I've really been thinking of recently is Scarecrow, because there was this big event. I talked about it on the podcast. Fear. It was Fear something.
Fear gas?
The event was not called Fear Gas,
Okay.
Macklin.
I was gonna make a fart joke.
See, I'm struggling to think of it right now.
I mean,
Okay, so whatever. Doesn't matter right now.
one
so
that kind of works is Kratos' character from the first trilogy to the second series. He's like, in the first one, it's like hack and slash action, hate all the time, rage. And then the second series, when they go to Norse mythology, it was amazing, but it's a lot calmer, like compared, and very much like story focused and driven, and a lot less of just like, you take some rage pills and just let loose on the universe.
And the original creator for God of War hates the new Kratos, which is hilarious to me.
He hasn't been a part of it since the first game. And there has been many, many, many games.
But it's still funny.
okay,
It's
so
very
I
funny.
figured it out. So
It was called Fear Gas.
no, it was called Fear State.
That makes a lot more sense.
So in that, like, this was James Tynion the Fourth and Mother Hell. Yes, good job, me. I'll just say whatever now. Jorge Jimenez. I'm blanking today. It's late. So they gave Scarecrow this brand new design, which has stuck. By the way, it is incredible, badass, and like every time I see it, I'm like, damn, that's a good fucking design.
It's really good. I
That
don't.
looks really interesting.
I don't care for like the super long like mosquito like gas mask. I don't know why. That just looks kind of a little bit goofy to me. But everything else I really enjoy.
Here's the I've pulled up. I literally searched up new Scarecrow design, and it pulled up the old Scarecrow design and the new Scarecrow design. And so this is something that happens a lot, where a comic creator wants to make make a splash with the scene, so they try and reinvent the wheel. Like, I'm a big fan of Tom Taylor's Nightwing run, and in that he does a whole bunch of stuff with Nightwing's parents and like that kind of stuff. So he reinvents that and like goes away, but like kind of goes away from the formula, but he still stays true to it. But like, there's a lot of examples, like one that I've really taken to in the past like few months is the new Daredevil. Elektra is now the second Daredevil, and I know for a fact that it is because her Daredevil has one of the best designs in like recent years. Like, her Daredevil is so cool looking. Like, she was a creation of Marco Cicchetto and Chip Zdarsky in their Daredevil run, which is f***ing incredible. And I've really like, I just read her solo series, and like, I mean, look at her design. She's got that
looks really cool.
A Red Band series coming out in January, which is really exciting. But like, just the end, her character has changed a lot, going away from the like. I mean, it's still the same character, but she has changed a lot. Like, she's become more of a hero. She doesn't kill anymore. It's like, and it's like something that's stuck. Like, I think the best things are like, I don't remember a time when that wasn't the case, which is the best thing to do.
I'm kind of struggling to think of something like this, because I'm trying to think of like different things I've consumed, whether that be movies or video games, something. But right now, what I've consumed is what I'm going to talk about in my content I've consumed. So I don't really know if it. I don't want to talk about it here.
Don't spoil it.
I'm not going to. But also because I don't know if it fits in this context either.
I've got one. Okay.
Right.
Martin Scorsese started making movies in the 60s. When you think of Martin Scorsese, what do you think of?
Wolf of Wall Street.
Like what is the type of movie he makes?
Like
Cinema.
serious,
but like what
interesting.
What are they about in
People.
general? Like,
Bad people.
like
They're usually about like
racists.
what?
Wait, no, who's the racist? Like, he's not a racist, but he makes movies about racists.
Quentin Tarantino.
Maybe. He's about feet.
Gangsters.
Gangsters.
Okay.
Do you want to know when his first gangster movie was like really? He made a movie that was kind of about gangsters in the 70s, but he's most well known for Goodfellas, which came out in the 1990s. Huge reinvention. Just to show him, hey guys, in case you forgot, I'm here and I'm one of the best to ever do it. Let me fucking show you. And so I think that's a big one, is that he just was like, how do you like them apples? Sorry, I got Goodwill Hunting right there.
How do you like them apples?
But yeah.
Oh. Are we sneaking up?
I don't know. Sorry, I'm just like...
We'll take a quick little break and then we'll be right back to continue talking.
A little bit different. Just kind of, this one kind of changed and like took a turn from like the overall thing rather than their own thing. Dance Dance Revolution, like crazy. It like music games like have been a thing for a long time, but Dance Dance Revolution was the first game to use like a physical dance pad, so that you weren't using a controller to match notes, you were actually moving, which, you know, is crazy, because then you have things like, you know, Just Dance, and Christmas music. That too. And like, what was the other one?
We heard that.
They set our headphones in.
I can't hear anything. That's okay. I should turn my volume down.
It's all good.
Sorry.
That's really funny. But yeah, so that's definitely one.
I've got one. This isn't a good thing, but I think that the thing that Marvel did in the 2000s, where they one more day with Spider-Man, retconning. Don't you dare sigh.
I'm not. I'm just like sighing
No,
and just
it's-
like, they did do that.
Yeah. It is a huge thing where they went, okay, so because of Civil War, Spider-Man's identity is revealed. So Aunt May gets shot and killed. And in order for Aunt May to come back, because Spider-Man can't live without Aunt May.
Spider-Man can't have
Obviously.
character development.
No, a character cannot grow. So in order for him to get Aunt May back, he makes a deal with the devil to trade his marriage to Mary Jane with...
No.
in return for Aunt May's life. So it's a huge blunder. I think it's bad. I think it's very bad. But it was a rapid reinvention.
An ultimate fumble. A universal fumble.
The problem is that there is a lot of good stuff that has come since. Like, I think that there's a lot of Dan Slott's run on Spider-Man, which was like 10 years long. Like, he was on Spider-Man for a long time. But I'm like, I don't know. Like, it wasn't a good thing.
Yeah. Sorry.
It's all good.
There was one other one that I was thinking of that was kind of interesting, and it was that. Crap! I'm looking through a lot of lists right now, and I'm trying to find some of the very. Like,
I think
interesting
one of the big ones for me as a child is like.
Are you still?
Watching, well, like when I was like, when you're a child and you watch Wizard of Oz
Okay,
for the
yeah.
first time, and you watch it, you're like, watch them go from black and white to color when they open that door is just such a glorious moment. And I think of it really as the moment that films really snapped into place. That's something that is on the top of the mind right now because Wicked is out in the world. We haven't seen it. I don't plan on seeing it anytime soon.
I also
do-
don't plan
neither
on
do I.
seeing it.
I'm not going to defy any gravity, no matter how popular it is, to go see it. Those are both songs from the movie. In case you were curious.
And I would just like to say,
Defying gravity.
I am a strong defender of musicals. I think musicals are great, but I'm still not going to go see Wicked. But I'm not going to see Wicked, because it's a musical.
I'm not going to see it because it looks like shit.
That is why I'm not
It
going to see
looks
it.
ugly as fuck.
Wait, you're not seeing it because it's a musical?
I'm not seeing it
Separately.
because it's not a musical.
Oh, it's
He's-
not.
It is. No. He's
I'm
not
messing
seeing
up.
it. The reason that he is not seeing it is not because it's a
Oh.
musical.
Yeah.
He's seeing it for reasons that are separate to the musical aspect of it.
Yes. That's what I meant.
You're not seeing it because it's a musical.
Not.
You got to
Not-
use double negatives.
Yeah, I used
double negatives.
Oh, you
double
did?
negatives just
I'm
in
sorry,
the
I only heard one.
Yeah, no, I used it. It was in the wrong spot.
It wasn't in the wrong spot. It was just in a different spot. Yeah. I understood what you were saying, but because the double negatives were in like at the start of the sentence, at the end of the sentence, it was okay. It was understandably confused.
Yeah.
All right.
I got another one.
Sure.
So I'm not a big fan of this. I'm change that I'm not a big fan of, but Todd Phillips as a director, was most well known for the Hangover trilogy. He made Old School, a bunch of other like comedies from the early 2000s all the way to the mid 2010s. And then he made the 2 Joker movies. None of us have seen Joker Folie à Deux.
That is true.
Unless it is streaming for free, I will not be watching it. All of us have seen Joker, right? Unfortunately.
Macklin hasn't.
I have not.
Okay, don't worry about it.
I'm just gonna watch King of Comedy and Taxi Driver.
Yeah, let's do that. They're better, and they're better. But yeah, that's another one that's like a big reinvention of somebody.
Here's a good one that I'm surprised I didn't think of as a video game like fan. Super Mario 64. Quite literally the first video game to use
3D.
three-dimensional graphics.
Yeah, that's huge.
Revolutionized the game industry.
Yeah. The reason that we have Resident Evil Village. Technically.
I thought of one.
It's a conversation from another
It's
day.
like that domino. The domino meme where it's like the Super
small
Mario
band, yeah.
64.
It's like
Lady
the,
Dimitrescu.
That's what I was gonna
I don't know
say. Another one for me is I'm not finished going through the James Bond movies. You'll hear more about that later. But the how they switched, like every time that they swap like hands, like who's James Bond, it's like honestly really impressive. Like they're all kind of silly. Like the Connery ones are very silly. And then they get really silly, and then they go back. They stop. They go really silly at Moonraker. Then they start going down, and then you have the Pierce Brosnan years. So he's got 4 movies, and they're a little silly too. You can't, like, James Bond always gets a little silly, no matter what you do. But then you get the like Daniel Craig, and it's this big, rapid reinvention of him in the modern age, which is just great. Especially like Casino Royale, the 2006 film, was this was a really big moment because it was this is James Bond now, and in Skyfall. There is a return to form. It's like, you like James Bond, right? Here's the James Bond stuff that you like. And it's great. It's a really good movie. And but that's something that I enjoy.
One for me that I just thought of. So the Metal Gear series, it's like a stealth video game series that heavily relies on stealth and like that kind of stuff. But one game that really departed from the formula was Metal Gear Rising: Revengeance, which in that you do have the option to be stealthy, but the majority of the game is much more focused on the combat of it, and it's a game where you play as a guy who has a sword, and you can cut through basically anything. Like almost every single item in the game has physics to be cut, and it's not just like, oh, you hit it and it just like gets cut in half. Depending on how you slice it, that's actually how the object gets cut. And it's, as far as to my knowledge, it's the only game in the series that has focused much less on stealth and more on that kind of stuff, and also one of the only games in existence where you can cut basically anything.
And like especially have like a level of control over something like that.
Yeah.
Like in some like, this is like a terrible comparison, but in like the Cooking Mama games, you can control how you cut the food by like drawing the line over it. But like for a game that is like a combat game, and like swinging a sword is usually a single animation that just does like a generic hit against a hitbox, kind of thing. Generic animation of something getting cut will play. But that's really interesting that they were able to kind of
like you can go up to a bus. You can go up to 2 different buses depending on the buttons you hit. The bus will be cut up completely different.
Yeah, that's really interesting.
Yeah.
Because I'm on the topic of video games, one that really kind of changed a lot was the Little Big Planet game for the PS3. It was the first game that really let users make their own levels with the game. So you could like play Little Big Planet and you're like, oh, that's really cool. But then you could like go into the user creator levels and like use those like obstacles and, you know, even like the little things like the colors that the floor is or something like that, and make your own level with it and share it.
Nice.
I've got another one. Something that I've been fascinated to see is the evolution of Ben Stiller as a director, because like he starts in the 90s with Reality Bites, where like when he breaks on into the scene, which is this like coming of age film from the like about the people in the 90s. Then he's got a couple of sillier stuff with the Cable Guy, Zoolander, and then Tropic Thunder. He directs and stars in The Secret Life of Walter Mitty, which I think is wonderful. But I mean, he does go back, and then he goes back to Zoolander. And then I've never heard of this, but there's a film called The Escape at Dannemora. No idea what this is. I think it must be some sort of show based off of how it's 400 minutes long. And then right now he's show running Severance on Apple TV Plus, which is like this really big show and it's really great. So that's another one that I think is really cool, just to see and it's not very silly. It's very like serious and it's like kind of fucked up. It's great though.
Huh, that's really neat.
Yeah, so it's just this. It's a constant cycle of Ben Stiller going like serious to silly, and then back to serious, and then back to silly, and now he's in serious.
Man's got range. He's also in Night at the Museum.
He is.
Yes, he is. Very true.
This is a true story. For a very long time, I couldn't remember Ben Stiller's name. So whenever I would just and it's not like I ever really talked about Ben Stiller because I
It's the
wasn't.
Night at the Museum guy.
I would just say that's Larry Daly. And for a while, I'm pretty sure that I thought that's what his name was. I don't think little Aiden could understand the fact that actors aren't their characters. And I'm just like, yeah, that's Larry Daly.
I feel like that's a normal thing.
Yeah.
That happens.
I mean, I think it's also a normal thing. Like, because when I was a kid, I confused The Rock and Vin Diesel all the time.
Me too, but I'm pretty sure I'm somewhat face blind.
It's very easy to tell apart now, but
another director that is similar to Todd Phillips. Sorry, just to break your guys's.
No, that's fine. It
was Adam McKay, because he it was like if you watched a Will Ferrell movie from the 2000s and it was great, like really great, the odds are that it was Adam McKay.
Shark Boy and Lava Girl.
Will Ferrell. Anchorman, Step Brothers, the other guys, Talladega Nights, like those are all him. And then in 2015 he makes The Big Short, which is this complete change for him, and I think it works. I'm a huge fan of The Big Short. It's a movie about the people that predicted the stock market crashing.
Huh.
Then he makes Vice, which
Psychics.
I think is good. I'm a fan of Vice, and he also made Don't Look Up, which is a little bit on the nose in the way it tells its story.
True.
But I mean it makes sense. But I think it's cool to see when comedic directors make serious films and they actually work.
I just had one more that I wanted to bring up because it's a game that I've actually wanted to play for a really long time, but I just haven't gotten around to it. It's Shadow of the Colossus. It's a really interesting video game, but it did something with the map and the things in the map that was really interesting. The map itself is huge, but it's such an interactive game. It's really, really, really cool. And from my knowledge, it was at least one of the earliest ones that had such high level of what's the word? I can't remember. I think it starts with an F, but who knows? Not me. But yeah, that's pretty much it.
yeah.
Sorry?
I was just gonna say, I've heard really good things about Shadow of the Colossus. Like you talk to a lot of people who are older people who
It
been
came
playing
out
games.
in 2005, so
Yeah. Well, so people are in their 30s and 40s and stuff, and they're like, yeah, Shadow of the Colossus was amazing.
yeah, I really want to play it, especially because it got a remaster recently, and it looks really interesting. And they added something that I think the fans were basically fan fictioning about. There was something to do with a secret area in the game that you could get to if you did all of these things. And they were like, you know what? No one's ever done it before, so we're making this remake. What if we just made it? What if we just gave him that. I think that was pretty neat.
Cool.
Thumbs up.
Yep.
Sounds cool to me.
Yeah. All right. Do we want to continue to the
Well,
last
Yes, we do, we have one more we have one more little section
True.
before.
section before?
I put this sort of in the content we've consumed, but it is a segment unto itself. Welcome all to Sawyer Watches the James Bond movies and tells you whether or not they're worth a watch. Today, I'm here to tell you guys about You Only Live Twice, which is
Factually incorrect.
the it is the 5th James Bond movie. It is it stars Sean Connery as James Bond once again. This one introduced Donald Pleasance as Ernst Stavro Blofeld, who is the Dr. Evil to James Bond's Austin Powers. Like, literally, that is what they are styled as. Like, if you look at Blofeld in the movie, he is literally just
$1 million.
yeah. So it's a little distracting, but this movie is it takes place mostly in Japan. It's pretty fun. It's a space. It's got like a lot of space elements to it. Like, spacecrafts just keep getting chomped by Spectre spacecrafts. It's a little weird. It's very ambitious. I think it's pretty fun. I highly recommend it for Sean Connery, who is once again outrageously great as James Bond. So yeah, You Only Live Twice is good. Thumbs up.
Sweet.
Do we want to go into the real content we've consumed?
Sure.
Yeah.
I'll go first. I would be making this also its own segment, except I don't consume enough content on the regular that I'm usually like really trying to find something anyways. So I'm just going to use these as my content consumed. Basically, I've been replaying all the Uncharted games, or not all of them, because I don't have a PlayStation Portable, and I do not want to play Golden Abyss because apparently it sucks. But I recently re-downloaded all of my Uncharted games onto my PS5 console, and just because I was really interested in this, and because you're not, I'm gonna tell you anyway.
I'm sorry. Nasa, in the background, she was dusting off her fingers. She was going like this, so it looked like she was making the hand movement with her mouth, like you
She
were
was
yapping.
rubbing her fingers, like the thumb against the rest of her fingers, like to get off the things.
Yeah.
But it looked to Macklin like she was doing, like, making fun of Aiden talking with a talking hand. Anyway,
Yes. I'm very sorry to interrupt you.
That's
Please
fine.
continue.
I think this is really interesting, and I'd love to give you guys a little bit of history on this. So, Uncharted is a series created by the video game company Naughty Dog. They're really, really cool. I heard a small song. I was very interested in just kind of like exactly what the deal was, because when I first played Uncharted, there was a lot of references to other Naughty Dog properties like Jak and Daxter and Crash Bandicoot. In the 4th game, you actually get to play a level of Crash Bandicoot. And I've never beat the level before, except for the time that I played Uncharted 4 like recently. I beat it. I felt so good. I was like, hell yeah. I didn't know there was an end. I thought you were supposed to die. That's how bad I was at it. I was like, you're just not supposed to win it.
damn.
But yeah, so Naughty Dog originally, like their first game ever made was in 1982. It was a game called Math Jam for the Apple II computer, and I was like, that's kind of neat. And then they did a game a little bit later called Rings of Power, which was an adventure game for the Sega Genesis.
What is this, Lord of the Rings?
That's what I thought. I was like, is this a Lord of the Rings game?
Because of the show.
Yeah, because of the show.
Show's the same
It's
name.
not. I'm pretty sure it's like a D&D-esque game. It actually might be D&D. No, it's not. That's a lie. Don't listen to me. But then they really got into a groove because eventually they made this little game. You might have heard of it. from me 10 seconds ago called Crash Bandicoot.
Math Genius or whatever it was called. I was only half listening.
What?
Whatever. I was making a joke.
Oh. And then
This is what I'm doing.
they
Sorry, I'm playing with the poster for a movie on Letterboxd.
and then they followed that game with a one called Crash Bandicoot 2, then Crash Bandicoot Warped, then again, because you got to make money, Crash
Holy
Team
man.
Racing. Brilliant. And then they're like, let's do something new. So they made another platformer called Jak and Daxter. And then they made another one called Jak 2. And then they made another one called Jak 3. And then actually, because after you
Jak
make
in
after you make 3 platformer games,
Looney Tunes,
you have
Jak
to
in
follow it
action.
up with a racing game. So then they made Jak X Combat Racing. And then the next game they released was Uncharted Drake's Fortune, which was completely different. It was the first narrative non-platformer game they had ever made. And it was really innovative to the game industry, which was what kind of inspired this whole topic thing. But pretty much Uncharted was the first game to really have cinematics, like cinematic cutscenes. A lot of other ones have had like cutscenes before. Like it wasn't anything necessarily new, but Uncharted was the first game to have like to not necessarily focus on them, but to take pride in them and to actually put effort into them. And that was really, really, really cool. So Uncharted 1, big thing, sold 4 million copies in the first 10 weeks, or sold 1 million copies first 10 weeks of release. I'm reading ahead. My bad. And then the second game sold 4 million. Pretty awesome. And then they're like, all right, you ready for this? 6 million copies. Uncharted. Wow. And then I think about a decade after they released the third game, they released Uncharted 4, A Thieves End, which is what I'm talking about for my content consumed. Because it was the first game I ever beat on my own, fun fact. I was a little wimpy gamer.
Was?
Yeah, because I play games on hard mode now. Granted, it takes me like 3 times as long to beat the game, but I do it. It ended up selling 15 million copies, which is pretty crazy. It was also the first of the game series, again, not including Golden Abyss because we don't talk about that. It's basically like the M. Night Shyamalan Avatar series, or Avatar movie of the Uncharted series. Because the first one had Nazi zombies. The second one had Tibetan demigod blue people with 4 arms. And the third one had evil spirits made of fire, which is cool. And then in the fourth game, you just fight a guy with a sword.
Hell yeah, dude. That's
Which is
awesome.
awesome.
I
It's
love
one of
guys
the
with
coolest
swords.
final fight scenes I've ever seen. You're inside of this burning ship fighting like the main competitor of the game with a sword. So you have to find this place called Libertalia, which is where all like the big pirates pooled all their treasure. So it's like this really, really, really cool scene to have this fight in. But I think it's really, really funny how they go from like these big supernatural elements of like a cursed totem, which was El Dorado was the totem that cursed people and turned them into zombies. And then Shangri-La, which is like this utopia, is protected by these evil blue people that will literally rip you in half. And then you end up going to the desert. I don't remember where. I'm pretty sure it's in like the upper Africa, like Middle East deserts. And then you go to like these ancient ruins, and the opposing treasure hunters are there trying to get the treasure before you, and they die and turn into evil fire spirits. Golden Abyss, we didn't do any of that, and it's also just bad.
Nice.
But that's the content that I consumed, and I just really, really wanted to talk to you guys about Uncharted because I couldn't think of another time where I would be able to, and I really, really, really wanted to.
All right. Sorry, do you want to go next or do you want me to go next?
You can go next.
Okay. The content I have consumed is a indie horror game called Mouthwashing. This game is only about 2.5 hours long. It was released in September, actually, of 2024. And Oh my god, is this game fantastic? There's only 5 characters in this game that you follow. You play as 2 of them, Jimmy and Curly, and
Where's Cramp or whatever?
Shem.
Sorry.
You just said that because Curly, Jimmy is in a Three Stooge.
Well, yeah, I know, but Curly.
Sherp.
Sorry.
But this game, it's extremely well made, heavily story focused. Like there's very little freedom you get as the player to move around and stuff. It's a very linear told story, but the story it tells is a very intense tale, because basically what happens is that these 5 people work for a company called Pony Express, and they're delivering a cargo to a different planet. And in that, I lost my train of thought.
I wonder why.
Sorry.
Pony Express, they're delivering stuff, and the captain, Curly, finds out that they're going to be laid off after this final delivery. So they're going to be completely out of job.
So he teams up with Cramp. I mean,
Krampus.
And
Krampus on campus.
And because of this,
Shemp.
Jimmy, the co-pilot, purposely crashes into an asteroid, thinking it's the right thing to do, and it hurts Curly extremely badly. It's also a
likely thing for it to do.
It's also a body horror game too, which is a lot of fun.
You ever just crash into an asteroid and don't get hurt?
But it's hard to talk
pilot
about. It's extremely hard to talk about on the podcast because it deals with a lot of sensitive topics, and so I do not want to mention as many as it does. But if you're at all interested, you can. If you're at all interested, I would highly recommend you check it out. You can buy it on Steam for like $15, or there are multiple people who have done gameplay videos of it, and also like
Not us.
lore.
But check out our YouTube.
They've also done lore
find
videos
Sawyer's
about it,
there.
explaining it. So highly recommend. It's an amazing game, and yeah, that's it for me.
All right. So, in case you were curious, last week there was no episode because we had reading week.
Yeah.
So, I've consumed quite a bit of content in the time since we last recorded. So, if it's okay with you guys, I just want to share a few of the things that I want to highlight.
Sure.
Okay, so the first thing is a wonderful little movie called Notting Hill. It's directed by Roger Mitchell, and it stars Julia Roberts and Hugh Grant. It is a delightful rom-com about a famous actress falling for a bookkeeper. It's a really great movie. Both Hugh Grant and Julia Roberts are incredible. It's wonderful film. Sorry. Speaking of Hugh Grant, there was a new movie that came out a couple weeks ago now. When you are listening, it's quite possible that by the time that this comes out, it might be on streaming. Because whatever, not going to get into it. But Heretic, which is the newest movie from Scott Beck and Brian Wood, which is a horror film less about the scares and more about people talking. Which doesn't sound like it's very good, but it is a meditation on religion and like what it means to be religious, to believe in something. And Hugh Grant is really, really great, as are Sophie Thatcher and Chloe East, who play the missionaries who meet Hugh Grant's character.
And he also does a Jar Jar Binks impression.
He does do an impression of Jar Jar Binks, because in talking about different interpretations of like stories of people immaculately concepted, like Chosen One, he brings up Star Wars. And in the Star Wars movie with the kid that was immaculately concepted, concepted. Holy fucking shit! What an idiot. Anyways, it's Jar Jar Binks is in it, and so he does a really, really great impression of Jar Jar Binks. What's up?
No.
Okay.
I'm sorry. That's not how
I also watched Presumed Innocent, which is it's a courtroom drama from Alan Jake Pakula, who is low-key like one of the best like lower tier filmmakers. But I mean, some of his stuff is really like most of his stuff is really, really great. But you mean if somebody asked who your favorite director was and you say Alan J. Wait, what's that in?
Paul Blart.
Well, I said
Kevin James.
But if you said Alan Jacob Pakula, nobody would ever be like, "What are you talking about?" But it stars Harrison Ford as a prosecutor who is having an affair with one of his coworkers, and then they end up dead, and he's accused of the murder. And it's a movie trying to prove his innocence, and it's really great. Harrison Ford is incredible as the lead, as are the rest of the supporting cast. It's really, really great, really fun. It's got a great twist, and the one that I really want to highlight is I'm sure you've heard me speak at length, basically getting on my hands and knees and begging for the theater gods to allow me to see Sean Baker's Anora. I have seen it. I've seen it. Macklin and I went to it
in the 19 plus theater.
Yes,
because I am 19.
Macklin had his birthday, so he's finally allowed to go into the 19 plus theater, and so we took advantage of this.
Chocolate milk.
They didn't offer it, sadly.
You asked. That's what matters.
Well,
so
we did walk in. And I was like, "Hey, sorry, do you think they have a fishbowl of chocolate milk?"
I was like, "Hell yeah, Macklin! Never change, never change."
The food there was very mediocre. Anyway.
I do hope he changes at some point, because eventually those clothes would get really, really stinky. And I do think laundry is one of the greatest innovations that human culture has had since we started wearing clothes.
Anyway, Anora.
So this is it was my most anticipated movie of the year. It won the Palme d'Or at Cannes. It's like it stars Mikey Madison as a sex worker who like meets this young Russian kid. Not a kid, because he's
a young Russian guy.
But I mean, he's got a baby face to him.
He does.
He's young. They're both young
man.
And so the first half of this movie is them falling for each other. They're living lavishly. He's the son of Russian oligarchs, and so they get married, and it spirals from there. It's a really great movie. I really loved it. It's it felt very much like something like Boogie Nights, where it's like, or Goodfellas. It's this type of movie where it's the first half is up and the second half is it tears that down, which is one of my favorite kinds of movies, where it's like the lavish lifestyle is, and then it plummets down as into like reality. And it's something that has always worked for me in basically all my favorite movies. One of the people the actor that really stood out for me was Yura Borisov, who plays Igor in the movie. He is a really sympathetic character, I think. Like, he's there to do a job, and then by the end he's really he's changed a lot. But all of almost everybody other than Mikey Madison were new to me. I didn't recognize basically any of them, which I thought really worked for the movie. I thought that this was a really, really great film. If you have the chance, is go see it in the theater. It's worth it. If I had to put money on it right now, I would bet that this is what's going to bring Best Picture. And yeah, it's really great.
This movie also contains one of the funniest break-in scenes.
Yeah,
and I've seen it's one of the funniest scenes I've seen for movies for the year.
Slight spoilers, but one of the characters has his nose broken. I'm not gonna say how.
I can relate,
but I'm and so I broke my nose in February. I don't know if you know this.
February 2024.
Yeah, so watching this guy. He does such a great job of broken nose acting because he's there and he gets dragged along for this huge adventure and he's the whole time he's like, oh, and
take me to a hospital.
Can I go to a hospital? And I'm like, bro, that was me. Because when I broke my nose, I was like, I walked into Nathan and I's bedroom and I went, I think I broke my nose.
And that guy says it 7 times throughout the whole movie.
Yeah, poor guy.
Part, again, slight spoilers. At one part, they're in a car. They're driving. It's a clear shot. You're like, okay, what are they gonna do? And the guy just throws up
with no warning. It's really, really funny.
And he just keeps going.
Honora really surprised me with how funny it was. Mm-hmm. But I'm glad that we went and saw it. Because I do think that it's worth seeing. I look forward to rewatching it multiple times, I'm sure. But it was great.
Good movie.
Very good movie. Right. Great.
And with that, after our... Oh, yes. Aiden has one.
I'm very sorry. I just want to add this because, again, also things that I don't get to talk about very often. And I really hope Clark listens to this episode because this is for him. So, during the last half hour of recording approximately, Clark sent me some pictures on Discord. He's currently in Toronto as of recording this. He is at a museum. I think he's gone from the museum. Not dead.
R.I.P. Clark.
Aiden, you're backtracking.
True. Going. Oh my God. Well, these things are dead. They're fossils. So he sent me a picture of what looks like a giant ground sloth and some really ancient horse relatives. I don't know the names of them because I don't do horses.
I don't dig on swine.
There also looks like there's a mammoth and some kind of ancient deer relative. But what I really want to talk about is he sent me a picture of a Saurolophus, which amazing. Love that dinosaur. Look up a picture of it if you can. It's amazing. Here, I'll just show you. I'll show the boys the skeleton.
No, you keep talking.
So there's Saurolophus. Cool. Looks really cool. Sounds pretty similar to Parasaurolophus, which you might know from the hit series franchise Jurassic Park.
Is it this guy?
That's Parasaurolophus.
Aww.
My mom has a tattoo of Parasaurolophus. That's her favorite dinosaur.
Bonehead.
There you go. I guess. You know what? I think this might be Prosaurolophus. So.
Oh, he looks so silly.
That's pretty cool. And then he also sent me a video of a sauropod, which, for those who don't know, are the long-necked dinosaurs. Now, he said, I said, giraffe. Is that a Saurolophus? He goes, I think so. And I went, nice. I'm going to mention it on the pod. And he followed with, LOL, the video. He sent me a video, following, the head to the tail of the sauropod. Is I'm saying this completely wrong. Is there a way that does it tell me how to say it? I really hope it does. Nope. Damn. All right, I'm just going to say it wrong then. Longosaurus? I was like...
Wonkasaurus?
I was like, is he making a joke saying because it's long?
There's chocolate.
No.
And
there's
not. Chocolate. Only Wonka's makes you...
And so I just wanted to educate y'all a little bit about this because I just educated myself about this, and I think it's actually really cool. So the Loncosauria is a group of very big, long-necked dinosaurs, and their higher classification I think is awesome. It's Colossosauria, which sounds rad as hell.
Sounds like a fake thing that you would see in a ripoff of Lord of the Rings, but they're all giants. Welcome to Colossosauria.
Ooh, speaking of fantasy-esque names, in the same family as Longosaurus is Catechosaurus.
Longosaurus,
Traucutitan.
Longosaurus.
as well as one of the longest animals to ever exist on the planet. No.
Sorry.
Patagotitan. Just pretty close to one called Argentinosaurus, which is the longest
Where was that
animal.
one discovered?
Kenya.
Tisdale.
Oh my god, unrelated. We were my family and I were watching the Christmas Chronicles 2 the other day.
As you
and
do.
at the start of the movie they get transported to the North Pole and they're like, I think we're at the North Pole, and my dad's like, nah, that's north of Tisdale. He makes that joke often, and it's one of my favorite jokes my dad makes because it's so funny. It's hilarious. That's it.
All right, with that,
I'm done.
With that, we should finish up this episode. So
Everyone stopped listening.
We've
however
yapped.
many minutes ago,
We yapped
because they
and
heard
yapped and yapped.
dinosaurs. I was like, they're like, shit.
I started talking about a lot of movies, so they probably zoned out with that. I'm okay with that.
I talked about a video game for 5 minutes, and you guys took up
That
10
sounds
minutes.
really cool.
It is a lot of fun. Anyway, I'm Macklin.
And I'm Sawyer.
We are the Wizards 3. Thank you very much for listening, and we'll see you all next time. Thank you very much for listening to that episode. And now we have a quick self-promotional sketch, if you'd care to stick around.
Dude, that movie was so good.
Oh, man, I can't believe it, dude. John Travolta? Oh, shit, sorry. I'm so out of it. Dude, that movie was awesome. John Travolta?
I know, he was fucking John Gotti, dude. Holy shit.
Is that
Holy shit, are you John Gotti?
I'm gonna steal your money and stab you.
Are you John Travolta from the movie Gotti?
Yeah.
Are you John Travolta from the movie The Fan?
Are you John Travolta from John Travolta from the movie Face Off?
No.
I'd like to take his face off.
Face
off.
Shut
What a good
up.
movie.
Sorry.
Stop. Give me all your podcast.
Excuse me?
Excuse me?
Oh wait, no, this isn't. One second. I just gotta. Can I use my phone a friend?
Okay, sure.
Okay, one sec.
Are you John Travolta from the movie Grease?
Hey, I messed it up. What's the line again? Oh. The Wizards 3 podcast.
What?
I messed it up. One sec.
What did you say?
I think this dude's crazy.
What was that movie
Pod-
called?
Okay.
Do you want to call him again?
No.
Okay.
I can do this. I
This is
don't
first
need
robbery?
a script. Yeah. Give me. This isn't even a real knife. You could just.
Why
put
did
it
you
away.
tell us that?
Damn it! What did I tell him? Screw it. Throw the phone.
Because you guys can see.
Why'd you throw your phone? That was weird.
Because I don't need him. See?
Yeah, you and your fake knife.
I need your podcast. Is what I need. See?
Okay, what podcast?
Yeah.
You two are two of the Wizards 3.
No. Actually, I just was on an episode of the Joe Rogan Experience. It's about all the podcast knowledge I
I'm
have.
sorry.
I was
No,
just
I'm kidding.
I was just listening to Haley
No. We are both members of the Wizards 3.
sometimes.
Oh, you were going to do that?
She?
Shay, wait. I want to know where to find it so I can take it from you.
What do you mean take it how would you take it from us? Do you want our passwords?
Yeah.
Well, we're not going to give them to you.
Well, my
too
password
bad.
is Sawyer is the most awesome cinephile ever. 1, 2, 3, 4. All of the I's are ones, and all of the B's are sevens.
Well, if you want to get more information about the podcast, because I assume that's what you're talking about,
Yes.
we have an Instagram.
So you're
And
gonna
What's
mention
on
Twitter.
Instagram?
Well,
Shay?
silly memes that are curated by the most funny member of the podcast.
Very
Aiden?
true. And no.
I mean, I don't know who.
and release dates as well. You can check them out at the Wizards 3 podcast. You could probably talk about it if you're
We're on Spotify.
That's true, yeah.
I mean, and if anybody's listening to this, they're probably listening to it on Spotify.
Why would they be listening to this?
I don't know. We're always mic'd up.
Yeah, it's true.
Shit.
Yeah.
And I mean, Aiden is also always mic'd up,
It's true.
so I don't know.
I can't wait to edit the audio and see what he's doing
no.
tonight.
Anyways,
he wasn't able to join us for Gotti. It's kind of weird.
I know, because I mean, we were both super hyped when they announced that they were bringing Gotti back to
Yeah.
the theater because
Absolutely.
everybody loves Gotti, starring John Travolta.
But anyway,
Hey,
we also
don't
have
know that
we also have a
She.
Twitch where occasionally
Tell me more about that. Shane.
occasionally
Yeah, you would like to know about
a
that,
person
wouldn't you?
What do you mean?
You
Shane?
sick fuck.
occasionally a person streams on there, and
The other one that isn't
I bet
here.
they're super handsome, Shane.
6 out of 10.
That's being generous.
Yeah.
We also have a YouTube.
Yep.
It's the Wizards 3.
Yep.
We post VOD. We used to have a series called Sawyer's Film School, but
But that's been on a hiatus.
it's
for
been
a
on
while.
a hiatus indefinitely that doesn't seem like it's ever going to end.
And
Sometimes there's
Sometimes
so
the
now all we
VODs.
post on there is VODs from the streaming.
You
Say-
tell me
say-
about it. This
yeah.
guy kind of sucks. Shane.
what else is there? We have
We've got a link tree. If you go to our Instagram and Twitter and
Tree.
the description of this episode, you'll find a
Maple?
link tree where you can find everything.
Maple tree.
Okay, wait. Can I just ask you something?
Palm
You look
tree.
just like our friend Aiden, but if he's wait, sorry, you look exactly like John Travolta in The
Who's
Fanatic.
that guy?
You look
It's John
exactly like John
I took off his mask. I don't know why I
Oh
act
my-
like he died. It's Aiden.
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 Shh, I'm dead.
Okay, something tells me he's not actually dead.
I think so.
I'm dead.